In this session 2, we are going to discuss about the physiographic divisions of India. So this will be our session 2. Got it? So this physiographic divisions of India. Now you see, India is a very vast country, and it has very rugged topography also. We don't find any kind of smooth topography or any kind of similar or familiar topography in India. So due to its variation in the physiographic divisions, due to the variations of the topography of the entire land masses and the landforms that we found in Indian subcontinent, the entire country, or you can say the Indian subcontinent, can be divided into 6 major physiographic divisions. I think in some of the books it has been described as 5 divisions, but according to your textbook, according to the textbook of the SEBA prescribed, so it has been given as the 6 physiographic divisions. 6. Okay. But in some textbooks, in some kind of reference books or the guidebooks, you can get as the 5 also, as one of the desert. Okay, one of the physiographic division, that is desert, has been included in the Great Northern Plain areas. Okay, now let us go in our serial process. So number 1, the Great Himalayas, or the Great Himalayas, or the Himalayan mountainous system. The Himalayan mountainous system. Fine. So the first and the foremost physiographic division of India is what? The Great Himalayas, or the Himalayan mountainous system. So why it has been known as Himalayan mountainous system? Yes, because this Himalaya comprises of many foldy mountains. Okay, yon-fold mountains. So it has made one of the largest chain of the mountains. That's why this is known as what? The Himalayan mountainous system. Fine. Now again we can take the help of the map. We will look into it, because you know that without map geography has no meaning. So only due to this map you could understand more precisely about each and every topic. So here it is. So at the Himalayan mountain system lies to the extreme north of our country. So this one. Okay. So from this Pakistan, Afghanistan to Jammu and Kashmir, again it lies to the extremely this what? Arunachal Pradesh, Nagaland, up to this Manipurs. Is it clear? Now all this area is known as what? Himalayan mountainous system. Now this entire Himalayan mountainous system again can be divided into 3 parts. The Greater Himalayas, the Lesser Himalayas, and the Outer Himalayas. Okay. So first of all, now we will going to discuss about how the Great Himalayas formed. So in our first class, in this changes of the Earth's surface, I think you have remembered that we have discussed about the drifting of the continents, isn't it? Drifting of the continents, as I already told you, that what are the drifting of the continents, how the entire supercontinent split up into different parts. Again, from that different parts, how the small countries came into being. And from that time, okay, when there was the movement of the Indian plates. Is it clear? So in movement of the Indian plates, there was a sea. The name is what? Tethys Sea. Tethys Sea. Before the formation of the Himalayan, when the Indian plate came into being. So this Tethys Sea, now there is a mechanism which is known as Tethys geosyncline, and from that Tethys geosyncline the entire Himalayan mountainous system came into being. That's why this Himalaya is known as the young folded mountains. Now why young? Because this is what some kind of very young in age. These are not such kind of very longer period after the evolution of the earth. So folded. Why folded? Because the entire Himalaya is comprises of some kind of silt, deposition of silt, means folding of the silts. From this, that is silt. As the result, this entire great Himalayas came into being. So now let us discuss about how this Himalaya formed. You see, when long before there was a sea which is known as this Tethys Sea. Now when the edges of the Tethys Sea, the depositions process occurred. That means from the edges of the seas, the silt used to deposit it, and from this one by one, that deposit the stratified layers, which is known as the sedimentary rocks. It's a layer formed in this sedimentary rocks, and the deposition of silt stays layer after layer in the stratified form. The entire huge Himalayan came into being in the tertiary period. Tertiary period of the earth. Is it clear? So this entire process, that means the Tethys geosyncline process formed the great Himalayan mountainous system. The sediments deposited from the Tethys Sea resulted into the formation of the great Himalayan mountains, and these are formed in the tertiary period, and these are known as young folded mountains. Is it clear? Now this great Himalayan system has been divided again into 3 parts. Number A, the greater Himalayas. Number B, the lesser Himalayas. And number C, the outer Himalayas. The greater Himalayas, the lesser Himalayas, and the outer Himalayas. So these are some of the 3 main parts of the entire Himalayan mountainous system. So now I just want to tell that we will provide the entire notes which could be help to all of you, and we will provide it in the PDF form, and you can do one thing, you can just download all the PDF forms and we will provide that notes. It will be much more easier for you to write down all your respective notes. So first of all, the Himalayan mountainous system is divided into 3 parts. The greater Himalayas. Now this greater Himalayas comprises of the main Himalayan mountains, so such as the Annapurna, the Kanchenjunga, the Dholagiri, Makalu, all these came in this greater Himalayan part. Is it clear? First of all, you can do one thing, you can just note it down. The northernmost range is known as the great or inner or higher or greater Himalayas. That means the northernmost, the extremely, so its height is very, very high. So the northern part, that means the extremely north divisions of the Himalayas came into this great or the higher Himalayas, such as Mount Everest. Mount Everest also comes in this greater Himalayan part. So these are also known as Himadri. So it is the most continuous range consisting of the loftiest peak. As I already told you, this greater Himalayas consist of the most, the mountains with a great height, and these are known as the loftiest peaks. So all of you note it down in your copies. With an average height of 6,000 meter from the sea level, from the mean sea level, the average height of the mountains that can be found in Greater Himalayas is 6,000, and then that means the higher we'll go, the more will be this height. That means minimum height, the average height is what? 6,000 meter. Here I am just writing here 6,000 meter and above that. Okay, all of you just note it down. For example, Mount Everest, Kanchenjunga, Makalu, Dhaulagiri and Annapurna, Nanga Parbat, Namcha Barwa, etc. etc. So these are some of the very important mountains that can be found in this Greater Himalayan division. So next is what? The Pirpanchal range forms the longest and the most important range, and the Dhauladhar and the Mahabharat range are also prominent ones. All of you note it down in your copies. The Pirpanchal range, the Dhauladhar range and the Mahabharat range. These are some of the parts of this Greater Himalayas. So these are some of the important parts of Greater Himalayas, and these are very prominent mountain ranges. Okay, so next point write down. So these consist of the famous valley of Kashmir. So here is the paradise of the earth, or you can say the Jannat of India, or Jannat of not India, Jannat of the earth, our Jammu and Kashmir, our beloved Jammu and Kashmir. So here it is. Now this is known as the very beautiful area. So it is quite problematic to hold like that. I think all you have seen all these things. Okay. Now you see this entire this Jammu and Kashmir is quite surrounded by the loftiest mountainous system, that is our Himalayas, all you know, and this range consists of the famous valley of the Kangra Valley. You know, there's Kangra Valley and the Kulu Valley in Himachal Pradesh. So the Kashmir Valley, it is the Himachal Pradesh, the Kulu Valley of the Himachal Pradesh and the Kangra Valley of also the Himachal Pradesh. So these are quite famous for its hill stations. All you know them, isn't it? So fine. So next point write down. The outermost range of the Himalayas is known as what? Shivaliks. Okay, this is the outermost Himalayas is known as what? Shivaliks, and the longitudinal valley lying between the lesser Himalaya are known as what? Dunes, or these are known as what? Shivaliks. Is it clear now all of you? So this entire this outer Himalayas is comprises of this what? Shivaliks. The longitudinal valley lying between the lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks are known as dunes. The lesser Himalayas, the longitudinal valley that lies between these lesser Himalayas are known as dunes, such as Dehradun, then Patli Dune, then Kotli Dune. These are some of the dunes. Now what are dunes? Dunes are known as to be the longitudinal valley lying between the lesser Himalaya and the Shivaliks. Now this outer Himalayas are known as what? Shivaliks. Is it clear? Again I am repeating, just all of you note it down in your copies. The outermost range of the Himalayas is called the Shivaliks. The outermost range of Himalayas is called the Shivaliks. Shivaliks. Okay, and the Greater Himalayas is also known as what? Himadri. Fine. So these ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments brought down by rivers from the main Himalayan ranges located further north. So these are the the entire river system of the Himalayas, as it flows from a very great height. It usually carries about enormous amount of sediments, and it quite deposited at the that mouth of that river. So these are quite formed as unconsolidated sediments. So entire these ranges are composed of unconsolidated sediments which are carried by the fast flowing rivers from the Himalayan mountainous system, or it can be known as what, running water also. The longitude, next third point you can just note it down, the longitudinal valley lying between lesser Himalayas are known as what, dunes. For example, Dehradun. So find out, Dehradun is a capital, it's a name of a capital of which state, just find it out. These are some of the tasks. Okay, next Kotli Dune and Patli Dune, and these are some of the well known famous dunes of Himalayas. Fine. Okay, now we are going to discuss about the drainage system of that comes from the entire Himalayan mountainous system. Now the Indian drainage system has been comprises of two types, the north flowing river and the south flowing river. Is it clear? So in our next session we are going to discuss about the entire drainage system. So before that we will discuss about our next second point. Now this is number one, the Great Himalayan Mountainous System. This is one of the first and foremost physiographic divisions of India. Now second is what? The Great Northern Plain of India. Northern Plain, or it can be also known as the Central Plain also, the Northern Plain. Okay, so this is the second most important physiographic division of India, the Northern Plain. So this Northern Plain comprises of the three river valley areas, the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river. Comprises of the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. Fine. So this northern plain comprises of the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra river. This entire plain area of the central part of India is known as what, the northern plain, which is one of the very important part of India, as this plain is quite suitable for the agricultural purposes, and the most populous states of India we can find in this northern plain area. Is it clear? Okay, so all the further discussions we will proceed in our next session.